Hi ladies and gentlemen. Well, I decided that I was going to make this video just a few minutes ago. I've been reading Roger Stone's book here, which is really amazing, as I'm sure a lot of you would agree as you're reading through it. True hero, this guy. He even suffered poisoning by, I'm not sure who did it, but I'm pretty sure we all know where the connections lie with Clintons and the deep state, the aspects of the CIA, all that. But I'm not here to talk about that. I got to the part of the book where he's talking about the whole affair with Trump making the statement that he was grabbing women and kissing them because they were coming on him so hard. And it was all locker room talk with Billy Bush in 2005. The kind of things that guys do. And I'm going to make a point about that here in just a minute. But what I want to say is this before I get started. For a long time I've wondered if I should go ahead and make, it's funny because now I'm going to talk about spiritual things, and you'll think, see, in my mind, sexual things, physical things, and spirituality are not diametrically opposed. In my mind, they're supposed to be fused in a particular way that both are elevated in, as Paul Joseph Watson said the other day, I was really surprised to hear him say it, to an exquisiteness, a perfect union. Okay? So anyway, I do link them together in a lot of ways, and so you're going to see that in the next couple of videos. But this one's going to be on the lighter side. The next one will be the one where I'm going to get into some things about how sex has been used to separate us, how sex has been used to make us feel guilty by, in particular, the traditional Christian church. Okay, and I'll get into that later, but just so that you know what's coming. So yes, this is a sex-oriented video. It's not going to be X-rated, but you may want to have the kids leave the room a little bit. Okay, so we're going to go back to this. So what happens? This video surfaces 11 years after the incident, and of course Billy Bush was behind it. That's interesting because, I guess since Trump was saying he was considering running for president back on Oprah Winfrey's show at one time, and then of course he had that test run in 1999 or 2000, somewhere there. So they took him seriously and they wanted some insurance. So they go out and try to get something on him. And that's the best they could do? That's the best they could do? Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about a man here who is a man, all right? And I'm going to throw political correctness and all this other crap out the window today, and I'm just going to say it the way it is. All of you know, and you know this is true, the locker room talk of women about men is far worse than what Trump said. And as a matter of fact, as a general rule, I would say that locker talk by women about men is more crude, more crass than what most men say in a locker room about women. This was ridiculous. The fortunate thing is, I think the American people realized it deep down in and didn't hold it against Trump. And he made a good point. His was all talk. The Clintons, both of them, were actions. First by Billy to do it, and then by Hillary to be an accomplice and cover up the assaults, etc. And of course, we don't know how many, and I'm not saying I know anything about this, but have there been lesbian sexual assaults by Clinton on women? I wonder how that would go. Well, anyway, so I'm going to take it from this point of view. First of all, I'm going to say this, and again, I've mentioned my background. I'm not embarrassed by it, and I can explain to anybody why I did it and why to this day I appreciate good, wholesome, beautiful, articulate, intelligent women. I haven't always selected those in each of those categories. Sometimes guys misjudge things, as I'm sure women do too. But the bottom line is this, okay? Donald Trump and every good male is going to appreciate true feminine beauty. despite what you PC leftists think it should be, with all your unisex and all of your, oh, you know, we've all got to be the same, or we have to be able to, you know, travel from one gender to another according to our, you know, will at the moment. Okay, a lot of people don't want to find fault with that. Well, I do, because I think it's absolutely 100% ridiculous. Okay, it's ridiculous. You're being farmed by psychological warriors to do that to you. But that's a whole nother subject. My point, of course, as I keep saying, is this. Do we really want our men in our nation to be pussies? To not appreciate the feminine beauty that places the inspiration in our hearts to do the best that we can, to defend our loved ones, to create, to be artists, to be inventors, whatever. And the same for women. Do we want to take that desire out of their hearts for men? That is the baseline for their creativity in a wholesome setting. Yeah, there's a little play back and forth, and you don't want to go across the line. You don't want to grab somebody inappropriately if they haven't asked you to. Of course not. But talking about it, that's locker room talk, ladies and gentlemen, just like the president said. So, no, we don't want men that are pussyfoots about women. Treat them respectfully, of course. Little backroom talk, yeah, let's have a little fun. But I will say this, you know, I've been watching Judge Jeanine Pirro. This is not a come on to her. I really appreciate her intelligence. She's always gorgeous on TV. Every time I've seen her. So today I just couldn't resist it after reading this and seeing that. I said, you know what? I'm going to preempt my video with a little tweet to Judge Jeanine Pirro, and I said to her, there is no more classy lady on television than you. That's what I said. And the reason why I did it is because of this, okay? I'm gonna tell a woman that she's pretty if I think she's pretty. And don't kid yourself, we're gonna look for the pretty women, ladies. We're gonna do that. And there's nothing wrong with you doing what you can to make yourself look better. I do the same thing. I do what I can to make me look better. I wouldn't expect a woman to do any less. And if she did, it might be a signal that maybe she doesn't have a lot of self-respect. What put her there, the feminists would say, well, because you're mistreating women, making them have to come up to some standard they shouldn't have to. Hey, if you're out there drinking purified water, if you're out there doing any kind of exercise, and you're going to tell me that there's something wrong with me saying I like a good-looking, intelligent woman, no, I'm not even going to play your PC game. And I think men and women generally who see this happen should just ignore you from now on. It's ridiculous. So if I see a woman that I like, I'm going to tell her, okay? More than likely. And much to your chagrin, I'm going to tell her why I like her. And what's usually the first thing? Physical attractiveness, of course. That is the first thing. And that's not abnormal. That's normal, and it's the way it should be. Now, are you going to meet somebody that looks nice, that's an airhead? Yeah, men and women both can turn out to be that. But the first thing is the physical attraction, and the next is you start checking out, at least I do, the intelligence factor. And sometimes intelligence doesn't always go along with common sense, but anyway, you know what I'm talking about. So that's the issue here today I wanted to bring up. That we really need to get back to men being men and women being women, and being happy about that. That's the way it's supposed to be. Yes, there are lines that you have to draw for appropriateness, okay? But the artificial lines that have been put up for us in the last little while are ridiculous. Now, they were bad in the 30s and 40s too, and even in the 50s. You know, with I Love Lucy, you know, Ricky in one bed and Lucy in the other. I mean, good grief. You know, that was almost too far the other way. But good, wholesome, you know, as I mentioned in that one video about PDA, there's a limit, yes, of course, but natural showing of affection is right, and natural communication about what attracts us to the other sex is totally appropriate, as long as we don't go out of bounds. And the out of bounds is if you start talking nasty, you know, if you demean somebody. I mean, if I see somebody I don't like and I say, oh, you're really ugly, I don't want anything to do with you, that's inappropriate. You know, maybe it would be better, and actually I've done this on a couple times, not when I was interested, but when they asked me what they could do, I said, well, look, you know, you could do this and that, and, you know, you know, there are some things you can do to enhance your appearance. Do that, whatever will it be, you know. Usually I'm not going to tell that to a lady that I'm interested in, because I'm not going to get that far unless I'm interested right up front. And I'm sure it's the same with a lot of women too. So let's put these notions away that we can't have our natural feelings and that they're okay. Okay? You don't want to demean anybody. You don't want to ignore anyone, but you have to be honest with yourself. Okay? There's an old saying, you don't marry the person you can live with. You marry the person you cannot live without. I kind of like that. I understand the old days when they married for, you know, the royalties, you know, the family connections and the alliances, things like that. And that still happens, and there's nothing wrong with that, but this other part is the real glue that holds us together. Fidelity is important. And when I say that, what I'm going to say is the understandings of the promises made at the beginning of the relationship. Some might be a little different than others, okay? And I'm not going to get into that here. Most of you can probably figure out what I'm talking about. But either way or the other, the point is we're upfront, we're honest, and we let our partner know where we are with that information. And obviously, physical attraction is the number one thing that starts the whole deal off. That's just the way it is. So again, if I see a woman out there I'm going to tell her, and I'm going to tell her why. Okay? And I think most men agree that that's just the way it should be. All right, the next video is going to be on the serious side, and a lot of people aren't going to like this. It's going to, you know, I told you in a video that you know, I'm a Jamesian Christian, basically, if I had to categorize myself, and it has a larger, more expansive understanding of the person that we know as Jesus Christ. Okay, the man, the God, however that's why I don't press it, because I decide that's your purview to decide on. But at any rate, it's going to get into some things that are probably going to seem uncomfortable, and I'm going to accuse Christian leaders of doing some very horrible things under the idea that they're teaching their flock to be chaste. They don't know what it means, okay? And they're trying to force on you a concept that was never intended by the scriptures, and I can prove that. You might not find it something you want to watch if you're not interested, but